I've been there. A space where we live, laugh, learn, and grow through any and every situation that comes our way. So in today's video, we will be talking about basically just reflecting on this past year that has been the year 2020. You know, it's been the best of times for some, it's been the worst of times for others, you know, depending on where you fall on that spectrum. And yeah, basically I'll be sharing 5 things that I feel that I have learned and that I'm grateful for, because I think it's really important to take the time to just reflect and see what it is that has happened in the past year, just so that we can also come to terms with how we're gonna move going forward, so that we can have the right ground, you know, plant the right seeds, that we can do the things for the following year, right? So without further ado, let's just get straight into it, right? So 2020, I know for me, was a year that I was really thinking, yeah, this is gonna be the year, 2020 vision, you know? This is gonna be that year where everything was gonna kind of line up. And it started off actually pretty great. In the beginning of the year, January, February, my close friend and I, my sister, my fam, we had this idea. We really wanted to go scuba diving. We never tried that before. So we went for a weekend to Simon's Town, which was really beautiful, really amazing, had the best time. And we got to experience something that we had never done before. We really got to really submerge ourselves into the ocean and just get a chance to see the marine life from that perspective. And it really taught me just like calm. You know, just to be able to just be calm, because in order for you to sink when you're scuba diving, or to go down, which is the point, which goes against everything you want to do, you want to be like, but if you keep having anxiety and you keep, you know, freaking out, then you will not go down. So you actually have to be like the whole time. You have to do that in order for you to be able to sink down and then actually be able to experience what it is like underwater, which was beautiful. If you haven't done it and you'd like to, please do, please try it. It's such a beautiful experience, and it's something that just really teaches you a lot. And I felt that was a good preface in a way to start the year off, actually, because a month after that, boom, lockdown, and they said it's coronavirus and this is what's going on, straight quarantine. And in a way, I think I got it, or I took that lesson of just know, in order for you to be able to see things from a better perspective, you need to be calm, you need to relax, you need to focus on your breathing. The same lessons that I learned while scuba diving. So I think in a way, without me knowing it, it kind of prepared me what was to come. Quarantine has been very difficult for a lot of people across the world. You know, if you haven't lost a loved one, you know, people were losing jobs, which was something that was very intense. And it's not like you can now try and apply. I mean, it's COVID, it's during COVID, it's during quarantine. People are trying to keep their businesses alive, and it's that aspect of, well, if you don't have a job, how are you going to look after yourself? How are you going to be able to, you know, just live a decent life? And there was a lot of things that were happening for a bunch of people around me, and it was really intense to see. But even from a personal point of view, as much as I'm an introvert, I love to be in my space, and I love to be like at home, and then I can decide if I want to go out there. The thing is that I can decide that I want to go out there, and if I don't, then like that's cool too. But with quarantine, it forced you, which meant that every single time people wanted to speak to me, the phone almost became the enemy, because now that became the thing where everybody is there and they're texting you and they're like, well, you should be able to text me back now. It's not like you're doing anything. And I'm like, but no, I am though. I'm still working. I'm just working from home. We're all in this little prison. And it's like, you know, the Mother Nature was like, you need to go to your room, world, and think about what you've done. And that's what COVID was in a way. Quarantine was, as far as my experience of it. So it was really something that I had to manage, especially for mental health reasons. You know, you can get very anxious being in one space, and especially for me, I mean, it's that sort of thing where you obviously do not have family around, that can also be a very different aspect to it too. I mean, there was a friend of mine, I remember, who was telling me that they were going crazy just being around their family. It was too much, it was a lot. They couldn't do it. They needed their own space. And with me, it's like, well, I have my own space, but I feel like there's an onslaught from the technological side. And with all of that happening, you know, we had the Black Lives Matter, we had the gender-based violence, we had a lot of things happening socially around us, as well as us trying to make sense of what was happening to each of us internally. There are a lot of things going on, guys. 2020 was that year where I really thought to myself, okay, 2020 vision. And in a way, I think that occurred, but not in the way that I expected. Let me say it that way. Because for me, this year has been a year of breaking everything down to build up again. You know, kind of like a phoenix situation. Everything needs to be burnt down to its most basic so that we could rise out of the ashes and become something else, become something beautiful. Because from a social standpoint, I really got to learn that, okay, you need to be very clear about the people that you really want in your life, and also the way that you communicate with people in your life. There are those who will be like, why is it that now you can't talk to me like all the time, or suddenly they're all up in your face, and it's like, but whoa, wait a minute, we really just need to just pause for a second. Then you really start to analyze the quality of conversations that you have, because you can no longer go out and see the person, right? So socially, that really taught me that assessing the relationships in my life, assessing the people that I want in my life, and the ones that maybe our season has just passed, and it is what it is, and it's okay. It's not that I don't like you, or I hate you, or I have any ill will towards you in my heart. It's just that, you know, our season came and it passed, and that's okay. That's okay, you know? And that's just what that is. And normalizing boundaries as well. If I can't speak to you right now, I shouldn't have to now give you a whole reason that, oh, my mental health, and oh, my this and oh, that. Just respect my no and be cool with that, right? So socially, I learned a lot of things in that regard. As far as work is concerned, I also learned that I still have to figure out a work-life balance regardless, okay? Because yes, I was working from home, which actually was great, to be honest. I preferred working from home so much that I don't even think I want to go back to the office, because you realize you were just there really to have, you know, that small talk, and you have that small talk with your colleagues, and it's cool, it's fine. But when you leave, you know, they may not necessarily be your friends. They're just acquaintances or colleagues, and that's fine. So when you take out that aspect of not having to deal with the drama of everything in terms of work, you know, and just all of the squabbles and stuff, it all now just happens online. So the Zoom meetings, and you start to see people's moods, people's vibes, just how they are. But it really helped me to realize that, man, in this day and age, you really can work from anywhere. You can work from anywhere. If you have good internet connection, if you have, you know, the necessary software on your computer, you can work from anywhere. And that's something that I think was really liberating. Obviously, this depends on your job and what it is that you do. I work in media, so for me, it was something that was a nice little revelation to have. But it also gave me the room to sit and figure out that, hey, when all of these things are out of the way, what do you really want to do? Because in a way, guys, this whole platform, Babes, I've been there, it literally was born in quarantine. And it really was born from a space of my friend and I, Amanda, just sitting and really thinking to ourselves, well, hey, what would happen if we created this kind of platform? You know? And my friends and I just really sitting and putting together this beautiful baby and what it has become now. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I don't think we would have been able to do it the way that we have had it not been for COVID and quarantine and this year, and just how everything has panned out, you know, in that manner. Physically, what I learned as well is if you want to maintain fitness, and if you want to really take your body seriously, it's something that you have to have discipline for, hectic discipline, guys. Because for me, I was very fortunate. My friend told me about this app, amazing app, and then it set out plans for me, and then I was able to just adapt those plans in a way into my regular schedule, in terms of, okay, I'm gonna say from this time to this time I'm gonna work, then from this time to this time I'm gonna work out, and it worked perfectly because I was literally just adjusting my regular routine that I had before COVID into, you know, the COVID situation. And then I realized there's actually no excuse. Even if one day I decide, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, I can still do that. And my eating would also then be dependent on me and how I decide to plan all of those things out. So it was one of those things that, again, I think I needed this time to really realize that actually there's no excuse. You will make time for what you want to make time for, and that goes for everything. That goes for friends, that goes for family, that goes for work, that goes for just taking care of your body. Because for me, the gym was less about aesthetics, but more so about my mind and my mental health. I felt better afterwards. The endorphins were good. And even if I wasn't able to go out there necessarily, just being indoors and being active in that manner, it helped. And I also realized, guys, you know, when they tell you about this whole thing of, for you to be able to, you know, lose weight or anything along those lines, that, oh, cardio. What I have learned through this year is that strength, guys, actually strength workouts will be the ones that will just shred you. And I mean shred you, especially if you're doing body workout stuff. That is gonna shred you, because my goals as far as my body was concerned was actually to gain a bit and to sculpt my body in a certain way. So I thought, strength, shot. But my diet did not quite match that ideal, and as a result, I ended up losing, which was not the plan. But hey, it was something that I had to learn, because now I figured out, okay, cool, actually, guys, strength workouts, if you match that with a really good diet, depending on what your goals are, you're gonna do other things. But that's not to say that I didn't really gain anything as far as workout is concerned, because I got certain parts of my body, I was like, yes, this works out. I just need a bit here and a bit there. But you know how we are with our bodies. Will we ever really completely, fully be satisfied? There's always something we want to change. So also just accepting your body as it is and working with what you have, you know, because it's beautiful and it's yours and it belongs to you. Another thing that I think I experienced during this year and that I'm really thankful for is just the gift of humor. I discovered this amazing East African sister of mine, Elsa, and her humor on Twitter. It was something that was just a nice reprieve from everything that was going on, because it was really hectic, you know. But just being able to laugh and have a good time and just really experience, you know, a different and a light-hearted take on everything. It was really great. So we really have to find spaces of just having joy in our lives and finding the humor in things, and that comes down to perspective. So that's something that I learned and that I really appreciated. So yeah, I guess to sum up this year, I'm really thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the people who have brought love into my life, just a sense of peace as well, because that is important. Throughout everything that can be happening around you, peace is of the utmost importance, guys. We need peace. We need peace in our lives. We just need it just to be okay, just to be satisfied, just to be able to take on the next day and be our best, you know? So yeah. Those are the things that I have, you know, looked at for this year in terms of 2020. Going into 2021, I think I have a sharper vision of what it is that I want across different spectrums, whether it's socially, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of those aspects, I think, now are reining into a laser thin line where I think I'm very clear on what that looks like for me, what that looks like for my life. And it's about now just continuing to implement that. Because regardless of COVID, of course, COVID is one of those huge things that will probably be spoken about for generations to come. It'll be that point in time. But, you know, for us, as we are in it and as we are moving forward, especially with the hope that we have in this world, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about hope, and I'm all about growth, and I'm all about being better this year than you were the previous year. If you're still in the same spot that you were in the previous year, maybe something must be reevaluated. And it can be small things, guys. It doesn't need to be like a huge thing. It could be like, okay, wow, like last year I wanted to achieve this, and this year I'm a little bit closer to it, even if it took like a step or two. But in that way you are improving, and that's what we want to do, right? To move forward, to be our best selves. And that's all that we can do in this day and age. And when we have our tribe and we have our people with us, we're able to do anything and everything that we want to do, you know? So yeah, that's it from me. Yeah, if you have anything to share as well in terms of your experiences of what this year was like for you, whether it was like, girl, like it was the pits, then, you know, please share that. I mean, we're here to learn from each other, right? That's the whole purpose of the space. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, join our family. We'd really love to have you. And that's it for me. So do have an amazing one. And until the next video, bye for now.